when should you rotate proteins, and how do you do that? As soon as, I would say this, you got to have at least three different proteins, you guys. And what I mean by that is beef, chicken, turkey, lamb, duck, sheep. There's all types of, did I miss one? There, I know there's, we don't have the actual buffalo meat, but if you find that, great. We do have bison heart, which is part of the protein for dogs. But you want to rotate three. You got to find three that your dog is jazzed about. Some dogs don't like duck. Some dogs don't like lamb. Some dogs don't like turkey. But I guarantee you, you can find three proteins that your dog likes. How often you rotate proteins is totally up to you and your dog and your finances and your lifestyle. But I would say this, don't go longer than 2 months on the exact same protein, like a beef, 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 beef. Uh, if you do 2 months, then go the next order chicken and do that for a month. Then the next month, go into, a turkey. Or you can do what we do. We do these. The raw boxes. Now I've got 3 different raw boxes, you guys. They might be a little pricier than if you just buy your 20-pound of turkey or 20-pound of tripe or your 20-pound of whatever and mix them up. But if you don't want to do that, you can do the raw boxes. We have 3 raw boxes. In each of those raw boxes are 5 different varieties. In the healthy variety mix, there's going to be chicken, turkey, lamb, duck, and beef. Okay. We've also got the tripe box, which all of these blends are going to have tripe in them. Now, rabbit is a cooling protein, and what we have seen, rabbit and duck, rabbit and beef. Beef is a neutral protein. If we have dogs with allergies, if we have dogs, that are running hot, like they do when they have these allergies, like Asta is, we see an influx of people buying the rabbit. And just real quick, let me tell you something that you won't find out there on the market in very many places, especially not in the pet food stores. Our rabbit in tripe has the brains, the whole head, and the fur of the rabbit. And if that freaks you out, I'm sorry, but it's really, really good for your dog. The other day, I was giving Asta some, and I had a full eyeball staring right back at me. It was like in the bowl. And I said, oh my gosh, take a look at this. It's an eyeball. Okay? And the brains. The brains are in there, and you just don't get that very often, okay? So the fur has manganese in it. The eyeballs are, another part that they eat in the wild. It's great, and the brains are awesome. I have a brain surgeon friend who even likes to eat brain. And I was like, where in the world do you eat brain? Okay, but
brain and eyeballs are great with omega-3s, help balance omega-3s and 6s as well.
Yes, and Judy Jarvis, you asked me, should we be adding omega-3s? And I'm going to answer that in 2 seconds. Let me just tell you that we have another raw box. This is your prey mix for those of you that say, I cannot feed tripe because it stings and it gags me. And Neely Piazza loves the smell of tripe. I don't notice it anymore. I'm afraid I've gone nose blind after almost 18 years of feeding raw. But I tell you what, my mama in Oklahoma, she's like, I can't feed tripe. And I said, well, you're just a sissy, Mom. You're just kind of a sissy. No, I would never say that to my mother. But I think you should always add omega-3s. And I think you should try to do it with whole food. And that means oily fish. Oily fish. Okay, so you can Google, what are oily fish? Those are sardines. They're salmon. They're mackerel. Sardines are amazing. And how do you feed those? Well, it depends on your dog. My dog likes for me to just run it under the water. She hasn't really specifically told me this, but run it under the water, and then I give it to her frozen. Some dogs would prefer that you let it thaw out. Some dogs would prefer you puree it or cut it up and put it in their food. But as a pet parent, it is your job to get some omega-3s into their body. Neely, what would you say if your dog is allergic to fish?
Omega threes, you can do eggs. Rabbit's really good to help with that. It has a better balance of 3 to 6s. Um, Phytoplankton, you
Mhm.
can try that. Um, Alfalfa powder and kelp, you can try that.
But I do want to ask this question, Lisa. Um, when how did you know your dog was allergic to fish? And what I would like to say to some of my new feeders is this, that many of you have had your dog allergy tested while you were on kibble, and I would tell you that you probably it's going to be different once you get on raw, because a lot of those aren't, they're denatured proteins, they're not the exact same thing. So if maybe this dog was allergic to fish and before, maybe 6 months on raw, you can reintroduce it.